How are your nuts hanging, Squirrel Squad? Kaplo here with some actual pro tips for you. Today I will go through MTGA settings and suggest you what I believe are the best settings to optimize your gameplay and that can help you tighten up your gameplay and ultimately improve your win rate. Stick around to the entire video to find out. There are certain settings available in this game that, when enabled or disabled, can be a major quality of life improvement. So let's dive right into it. The settings are accessed by the gear icon on the top right of the game screen, just click in here. Let's look at the most important settings, which are the gameplay settings. Here are the default settings as when you install Arena. As you can see, there are two grayed out options, the auto tap and the auto choose replacement effects. Those can be changed only during in-game, and for now understand that those are very situational depending on the deck you're playing and the situation. If there is enough interest in the comments, I can do another video about them. Moving on, you need to uncheck the auto order triggered abilities. I have lost so many games with this option selected, so please do a favor and uncheck these options. To achieve the game sequence that you would normally do in paper, you'll need to make the decisions for yourself, and not let the game make them for you. 9 times out of 10, the game will order the effects in a suboptimal way and make you lose the game. You can leave the auto-assign combat damage checked. I never had this matter. And if you're in a dicey situation, for example with Phyrexian Obliterator, then maybe uncheck this one while in game. Show phases can be really useful to get more control in the game, and it's the only way to set a stop during combat. I would recommend to turn this on. Enable gameplay warnings. I recommend to have this one on. It prevents you to make few mistakes that can cost you the game. For example, playing a duplicate legendary card or knowing that you need to discard a card at the end of turn. Here is how I have my settings currently. Feel free to take a screenshot or pause the video and update your arena settings accordingly. In this gameplay settings page there are helpful shortcuts you may want to learn. I'm highlighting to you the ones I use more often. Full control and pass the turn are the ones. Sadly, those keybinds cannot be mapped to other keys. Now let's move to the graphic settings. The first 3 options are up to your personal preference. For the quality level, I've always played on low. There isn't much difference between low and ultra in the graphics. Ultra has some shadows and is a bit more polished, but the game looks great on low as well. I would recommend to keep them in low. Audio, let's talk about it. Master is depending on your computer volume. I like to keep it relatively low because of my headset makes everything really loud. I would recommend to disable music and ambience. Especially if you're playing at a highly competitive pro level like me and need those sounds muted so you can watch Breaking Bad in peace on your primary monitor while you play. You need SFX to know what's happening in game, and voice is up to you. But some of the cards' voices are quite funny, so I leave it on.
What? My hair is on fire? I know.
I would recommend to select play audio when minimized, so if you're tapped out of the game to do important other work, you know when something happens and require your attention. The last important setting I want to cover is a bit hidden, but you need to click on the account in the bottom of the options and check detailed logs, plugin support. This is really useful if you want to use plugins for Arena. I will leave a link in the comments and leave an info card for my video about MTGA plugins. There are some helpful plugins that you can get for MTG Arena that I like to use. If you want me to cover them in extreme detail, please let me know in the comments. And there are other settings that are very subjective and don't impact the gameplay at all. For example, they are under the gameplay tab. Hide alternate art styles. If you just want to see the basic version of the cards and don't care about the fancy versions. The evergreen keyword reminders. This setting applies only to very common evergreen mechanics such as flying, reach and lifelink. As you can see, it doesn't apply to the evergreen mechanics, scry or prowess. If you are an experienced player, I recommend you to disable it, but this doesn't hurt to have it enabled. Disable emotes prevents you and your opponent to talk in game with emotes. I believe that emotes are part of the fun of the arena, so I will leave this on. About auto-apply card styles, I wasn't able to test the settings, but this doesn't apply when you import a deck. You still need to click on apply card styles. I hope you enjoyed my video about the best settings for MTGA. If you did, please consider leaving a like and share the video with your friends and family. Until next time, stay squirrely, friends!